the main topic tonight. We were kind of trying to figure out what could we talk about, and obviously, cannoli, Sasquatch, Mafia. It all connects together.
Sure. Circles.
So I thought, or you thought, let's do food scenes from top Mafia movies.
Yeah, plenty
I
of
think
those.
that's a really good idea.
Mm-hmm.
So, so we're gonna get started with that. So this is food and Mafia movies, and we're gonna go through like special scenes and what kind of food was then in them, and what kind of made those scenes special, and why it was important to have why it's related to the scene itself, like what the food is. So this is one of my favorite scenes, and it's just a kind of a play on words here for Mr. Cannoli Sasquatch, and that is leave the gun, take the cannoli. So this is a scene from The Godfather, right after these mobsters here take out a fellow mafia person, and he has some cannolis that he wanted to give the Godfather, and he says, "Take the cannolis and leave the gun."
Yeah, probably the best line I've ever seen in a movie. It's so nonchalant, typical to that life, right? And then in context to the movie, if you've seen The Godfather, it just obviously makes more sense. But it's just like, right, we got rid of this guy. Yeah, take the leave the gun, take the cannolis. No big deal.
And that's The Godfather's like main dude. He's like the capo or something. He's from he's known him for a while, so it was kind of fun to see him do that.
Fat Clemenza.
Yeah, Clemenza. Yep, that's his name. His shirt has some Italian food on it. Okay.
Oh yeah, I had to wear. Yeah, I had to wear the. It's from The Sopranos, the Satrielli's pork store shirt.
Ah, okay.
So I did that in honor of your show tonight. So
sounds like something Grandma would say.
Well, I'm not.
It's a great movie. It's a fun movie.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah, leave the gun, take the cannoli. When I first saw this scene, I laughed. You're not really supposed to laugh at this scene because he did murder that dude, but
yeah,
like
but
he's still hung. What if the cannolis were poisoned?
No.
It was a nice gesture. I think he was trying to.
Yeah, he just don't make the cannolis go run. You got to take the. He's got to eat sometime, whether or not you're shooting people. You're gonna be hungry.
Yeah. So in the world of the mafia or in mafia movies, you always come across like people talking about the sauce, right? And I'm sure I've been to Italian dinners and in homes where that is literally on to the side. You have a big bucket and they're literally cooking sauce all day long. Is that something that happens in your household?
Yeah, my grandmother, both grandmothers used to do it, and my mom, of course, and then my wife kind of got that. She has that honor, and it is true. It starts in the morning, and then it just kind of gets perfected as the day goes on. And there's a lot of stirring and ingredients, and nobody tells you what's in it. It's all a big secret.
Yeah,
but it's very true.
And in this scene, these are two different scenes from two different movies. So the one on the left is Michael, and the one that just took the cannoli, Clemenza.
Yeah,
he's showing him how to make sauce, and kind of like what ingredients to put in it, and why the other crew is just talking about how they're going to murder some guy or take out another gangster, and this guy's making sauce.
Yeah, he's got to feed all the soldiers.
Yeah, you got to be fit. You got to be ready to go.
Have your energy.
And the scene on the right there is Paulie from the Goodfellas, and he's slicing a very thin piece of garlic in prison.
Yeah.
So the prison scene when they're all cooking is one of my favorite. Yeah.
Only in a mob movie is where you see them going through a whole 5-minute scene on how to prepare food correctly for sauce. It's really fantastic, and how he sliced the onions perfectly, and the whole scientific method behind it. It was probably one of my favorite scenes in the whole movie.
You can probably learn how to make sauce from these two movies,
both of them easily. Yeah, I mean, you don't need the Food Network. You got this.
Yeah, and let's see here. I always trying to sneak a quick bread dip without getting your hand smacked by the wooden
Yeah,
spoon.
a
Yeah,
wooden
yeah.
spoon or slap. Yeah, I used to get hit a lot trying to do that, and a little, but when they
Oh,
would
really?
go into the next room, take the bread and just dip it in, and it was
Hmm.
sneak out as fast as you can.
Yeah, I always love the scene in the prison because it's before this. It shows where how they're getting the food in, right? The wives are
Yeah,
bringing it in under their shirts or whatever, and then you're like, "What is going on?" And then they're all in this room, just chilling in prison, making uh, sauce and other types of food, and
yep,
you know, so
it's amazing. Yeah,
that's
that's
it's
some
pretty
life they
funny.
had. Yeah,
Well, I think one of the real people from with this movie, with Goodfellas, was about debunk this whole scene. He's like, that doesn't happen. That was all Hollywood. So
yeah, they added it for just dramatic effect, like everything else they do in Hollywood, because they said, yeah, this is not how even for them prison life would go. But you want to,
yeah, they
it's a
got some
nice,
extra
it's a nice
perks,
gesture,
but
though. Yeah,
not this. Yeah,
yeah, no,
maybe nowadays they do it. They're like, hey, what's up?
yeah. Let's make some sauce. Let's go.
So sauce. You got your sauce, you've got your cannoli, but now you got your spaghetti talk.
Yeah.
So, if you watch like a ton of mafia movies, there's always a scene where someone's eating spaghetti and making plans. So this is a scene in Godfather 2 where you have the young versions of the couple people that we just met, the Godfather Comenza and his other right hand person, and they're literally trying to figure out how they're going to take out the Godfather, the main guy at the time,
Hmm.
there, and they're just literally shoving their face with spaghetti, and the wife's like coming in, like dumping spaghetti in their bowls.
Yeah.
Do you have big conversations with spaghetti in
I
your house?
mean, yeah, if you're an Italian family, you're going to be slurping down, especially spaghetti, and dipping it with bread and drinking wine at the same time. So it seems to be that specific food, yes. And obviously, you can see where Clemenza got his nickname in the future as Fat Clemenza because he's stuffing his face the most out of the
Yep, yep,
scene. Uh,
yep. And
but
I
yeah,
don't
yeah, of course.
recall the guy. I'm losing my memory here. I don't recall the guy on the right. I can't remember his name
I think
exactly, but that's
is
his
it
other
Tessie? I think it's Tessio.
Tessio. That's his.
I
Now,
think.
later on in the movie, one of them, I'm not going to tell who, in case you haven't seen it. One of them turns against him, but
Yeah.
later in life. But
Hmm.
but yeah, this is like their first trifecta meetup. Like, hey, we're going to take over the neighborhood, and they're
Yep.
literally just doing it over spaghetti with some sauce.
Of course. What else
I
would you
love
do it over?
the
Yeah.
his outfit. Look at his collar. I always thought that was funny. Like, that was like
Yeah,
a
it's
very
that
authentic.
typical 1940s,
Well, this
mafia
is
look.
pre that. This was like
Oh no,
late
this is before that. I'm
20s.
sorry. You're right. Yeah. I'm
Yeah,
sorry. This
this
goes,
is
yeah,
when way back,
the
like early 20s.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Sorry. You're right.
So now you've got uh let's see here. Hold on.
It's my favorite scene ever.
Yeah. So you got late night meal with mama. So this is from Goodfellas.
Yeah.
And the funny thing about this scene is what could be funny. Some people might think it's sad, but um they literally have a guy in the back of their trunk of their car at the moment, and they're like, "Man,
Hmm.
I'm hungry." So they go to mama's house and they get a late night meal to eat, and
Yeah.
mama's talking about her paintings, you know,
Yeah.
and Joe Pesci there is saying, you know, the dog's looking this way, the other dog's looking that way, and this guy's looking at
What do
me.
you, yeah. Yeah. This is probably my favorite scene in the one in that movie because it's so. First of all, it's true because Italian mom sees her son for the first time and immediately, oh,
And
doesn't matter what time of day it is or night. Oh, I'll make you some food. And they're like, no, 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 I haven't seen him in so long. Let's make. And then they're eating,
yep,
and he
yep,
grabs the knife, and he's like, oh, I needed to, what did he say? He's got to cut. He hit a deer. He said he's got to cut the hoof
yeah,
off the truck and the trunk of it. And I'm like, what's going to happen with that. But
yeah. He's taking the knife to go
you even
home.
got Ray Liotta sitting there, and he's kind of just nonchalant, not really eating. And they're like, "What's wrong with you?" And they're stuffing their faces with the food. It's so
He's
funny.
like, I can't eat right now. Like he's like so
Yeah,
stressed out because
somebody's
of what.
decaying in your trunk.
And I like how Joe Pesci played this scene so well.
Yeah,
He
he was
was
great.
just like, "Hey, I'm gonna get my bib ready. I'm gonna eat. I'm good. I'm not gonna
Yeah,
I don't.
Yeah.
I'm in this moment at this time, so
Mhm.
it's funny because
Yeah.
it's a funny but interesting scene where you're like, what am I watching, right?
Well, I'm always
So
trying to figure out what they're eating too, and then that's just one of the and then I'm
well,
like,
it
"Oh,
looks like they
God,
got some bread there, maybe
some
some. I think she
ketchup," so
does
it might be, like,
say
eggs or something or who knows, but,
she did say in the beginning of the scene what it was. I just don't remember what it was.
yeah,
It's
it's been a
something.
while, but I do get hungry watching these even though there's dead people involved, which is really
Yeah.
dark, I end up getting hungry watching these scenes.
And she was so proud of her picture.
Oh, yeah,
So,
one dog's going
in the
one way,
thing.
one's going other, the guy's got a beautiful head of hair,
Yeah, and then he goes and he says, "Oh, that guy looks like the guy we talked to
Somebody we
later," and
know.
it's somebody we know. So this is the guy, and it looks like the
Yeah,
guy in the trunk. So
yeah, how convenient.
and then Robert De Niro confirms that. Oh yeah, it does kind of look like somebody we
Yeah,
know.
yeah,
Yeah, it's good
yeah,
times. So
amazing
remember,
time.
folks, if you're hanging out with Italians and you're late at night and you're hungry, go to Mama's house. You'll get fed.
Yeah, just don't ask what's in the trunk.
Yeah, don't ask what's in the trunk. So after that, maybe you get way ahead of yourself. You do things that maybe the other mafia crew doesn't like, and you have to have some type of sit down. Usually, a sit down happens in a restaurant. Usually, there's
Mhm,
one or two people, and you kind of discuss your future with the mob. And sometimes it can end really badly, and sometimes you can realize maybe your friend's going to turn you in and
yeah,
you have to run. So that's what's happening here in the up there in the top corner of the left there. You got De Niro and you got Ray Liotta, the late great Ray Liotta. He's kind of nervous because he's like, "Are you going to turn on me? Like, do you know something? Because they just got done doing
yeah,
that heist and everyone's kind of nervous."
mhm,
So that was a really strong scene because even they knew they were being watched from the FBI.
yeah,
So they were really like talking real quiet and but that
yeah,
was a sit down for that. And then the other sit down that you see there is with Michael and the chief of police at the time, and then a rival mobster. And this is the mobster that killed his brother, and he's here to avenge his death. So he goes into the bathroom, he comes out, and let's just say he makes his own sauce with the gun.
yeah, he makes his own, red wine, as I say. When he this
Yeah,
scene
and
was,
that was a cool scene too.
this
So
scene made Al Pacino's career, actually, because they were not sure if they wanted him even in the movie, and then, they
yes,
realized after
mhm.
this scene, like, "Wow, this guy really is gonna be a great actor," so, it's all in the eyes with
Yeah,
Pacino. He's thinking, "What kind of
there's
sauce am I gonna make?"
there's a TV show called The Offer. It originally came out on Paramount Plus,
Paramount Plus, yeah, good show.
and they do a very good show or good job of telling that story. Like no one wanted to touch
Oh, it's
Al
amazing how
Pacino.
close this movie came to not being made.
Yeah, and this scene right here, he said it was one of the most nervous him himself, Al Pacino said it was one of the most nervous scenes that he wanted because it had to hit. They had to
Yeah,
hit this scene because they had no time to reshoot or anything. It had to happen. And a neat thing about this fact, that scene there is um the director, he told Al where he was going to put the gun. So when Al
mhm,
goes in looking for the gun under the toilet, he goes, "Okay, it's gonna be like over here to the left." But then he tells the stuntman, move it over here." So he's frantically looking for it, and that was
yeah,
all. If you've seen this scene, that scene where he's looking for the gun, that's all real because he's freaking out because he knows he has to get this scene correct and
yep.
come out here, and he nailed it. And it's one of the again, it has food. I'm sure they're eating spaghetti.
Spaghetti, I think, yeah, and, drinking
Yeah,
wine and
and you got
typical.
this.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
typical.
And the diner that, is up in the top there with Ray and, Robert De Niro, that's a real place. They actually changed the name of the diner called Goodfellas Diner. So,
Yep.
it's a real place you can visit. So if you're hungry and you wanna go to a diner, you
Yeah.
can go there. The next scene, the next, little, uh, uh, food item talk about Mafia and even Italian families, even big families like to have family dinner. So
Yeah.
you've got the Sopranos up there in the left. It's a nice, elegant dinner. It's got the kids, the mom, probably the grandma or the mother-in-law is probably there too.
Mhm.
they're all sitting around the table, and then you've got the Godfather scene where you've got literally everyone having a good time, and because it was just after the wedding, they're eating. This is like when the family first got together in a really long time because Michael was away at war.
Yep.
And then down at the bottom there is from Goodfellas, where his family's having family dinner, and he's strung out, high on coke, and he's thinking he's being chased by the cops in a helicopter, which he is, and he's just all strung out and doesn't really want to deal with the sauce.
Yeah, he went straight to
There's
dessert.
Yeah, and there's even a part in this scene where he goes to the sauce and he tastes it. He's like, "This is wrong." Like, stuff in there.
He has to stop and tell her she's making it wrong.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Yeah, so you got a big. Do you have a tradition where you have a family?
When we had more of a family when we used to live back east, it was definitely more prevalent. Yes, but we definitely make time to have big family dinners, and it's pretty much just like these movies. A lot of yelling, a lot of loud talk. My dad just talking over everyone, and yeah, it's a good time. It really is a good time. But then you can't walk afterwards because you ate so much food. It's pretty good. Yeah, it's about right.
It's like Thanksgiving. You just have Thanksgiving like every week,
every Sunday. Yeah.
I always remember remember that show Jersey Shore where they always had the family dinner or the Sunday dinner.
Of course.
I think that was probably the most authentic thing of that show.
I think The Sopranos makes me the most hungry though, because it's a show, and every time I'm watching that show or rewatching it, they're eating every time, all the time.
Yeah, you just have to make sure you eat while you're watching. Kind of like this show tonight. Hopefully everyone's eating. Yeah. So.
Yeah, have a nice little late snack.
Italian family, shut up! You shut up, Grandma. Both of you. Shut up.
It's basically what it is. Yeah, everybody.
That's
a lot of hand waving and screaming. Yeah.
So.
All right. Maybe we'll forgive them.
Okay. So after family dinner, you want to go hang out on the town with your boys, and there's food there. You can eat peanuts. You can get a drink. You can. Maybe get an appetizer or two and just have a good time. Is it right?
Yeah. Yeah. Just go, talk about who you're going to whack next and who you're going to hijack. And, as Michael,
funny
the
joke.
bottom right one is where Michael decides he's going to marry someone and tells the father that he has no choice, to give up
he literally walks in, sits down at the table, goes, "I'm going to marry your daughter."
Power move right there.
And you're not going to say anything about it.
That's what we call toxic masculinity these days, apparently.
Yeah, I think it was funny in that scene because the father comes out all pissed off, and then he realizes who it is, and he's like, "Oh, okay."
And I like the Goodfellas one at the top left. That's where we get that. What am I, a clown? I'm funny. I make you laugh. Joe Pesci scene. It's classic. So
yeah, that's a good scene. Yeah, and everyone laughed. I'm pretty sure most of that was improv.
Yeah, it was.
But that was good. And then you have the scene in the bar that leads to the mama dinner. So they're hanging out, having a good time.
Beat up
and then someone says a wise joke, wise guy sends a wise joke and no one likes it. And things go south.
Really fast. Yeah.
Yeah. So if anyone comes up to you at a bar and they're smoking a cigarette like that, like Robert De Niro, like real slow and like, hey, I'm gonna, something bad's happening. So
just a quick side note: that bar where that happened, my grandparents lived right near that bar in Queens, New York.
Really?
At the time that happened, yeah. So a lot of the stuff that happened revolved around my family, like my areas where we used to live.
Yeah, that I believe from some of the books I read, that bar is, I don't know if it's still there today, but that whole scene was pretty accurate to some point.
Yeah, very accurate. Yeah, I think it was off the book Wise Guy, is what the movie was based off.
Yeah.
Great book.
Yep. Yeah. Bad idea, Billy Bats. Yep.
Yeah, Billy Bats. All right. Yeah. He likes to be in trunks.
Yeah. Now, Mafia guys, like, when they go on a date, they like to, show that they can treat them nice, get them all dressed up, take them to a nice steak dinner with some glass and wine, and they can, like, they can take them maybe to a little comedy show
Sure.
or a big wedding.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so
Um, yeah, you got to take the girlfriend of the wife out and show them who you are, what you do.
yeah,
I think
yeah.
in
Go
the
through the back
Goodfellas
of the
scene at the
restaurant.
yeah, that was you walk through your another power move by Ray Liotta's character, like you own the place,
Yeah.
and then she asks you, "What are you doing?" "Oh, I'm in construction." Yeah, that's what he does.
The best the that was one of my favorite that's what made me enjoy that movie, like, 100% was him walking through that. I was like, "Man, that scene is so, you're, like, hyped up for it, right? This would be so cool if you were
Yeah,
able to do this,
yeah,
yourself, right?
right.
And, go from there." And then, like, she's all, you know, in love with him from that point. Because in the picture above in the left, she's mad at him. She thinks he's annoying, kind of
Yeah,
doesn't like him, and then
he
she
ignored
falls in
her.
love with him.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. And then Joe
Yeah.
Pesci's on like his third girlfriend of the day or something. I
Oh,
can't
one of
remember.
them. Yeah, I don't know. He talks about that later on, and then the top one with Michael and Kay at the Godfather wedding. He just got back from the war apparently, and then he's
Yeah,
telling
that's
her
when he
about the
came back from
history of the
war. Yep.
family. Yeah,
Yeah, and he takes her to the wedding.
yeah.
And yeah,
She's very
he's
naive.
telling
Yeah,
yeah, he's telling her like this is not me. And that's a powerful scene too because it shows you where Michael really wanted to be.
yeah,
And he didn't really want to be part of this life. So when you see him in Godfather 2 and 3 and some of the things he has to do, he's thinking back to this moment where
yeah.
I never wanted to do this, but I had to do it for the family. So
Yep.
there's a lot of moments in Godfather that you can see him thinking there without them showing a flashback. You can feel his thoughts. You can be like, okay, he's thinking about this moment. So I
Oh
always
yeah.
thought that was good. So, yeah, that's really it. That's the mafia food and mafia movies.
Good mom.
Are you
Yeah.
hungry?
I mean, I'm always hungry, but yeah, that
Okay.
always makes me hungry. Well, now I want cannolis and I want spaghetti. You did your job very well.